Thank you for staying with us. It's time now to take a look at stories making headlines on the front page of Nigerian newspapers. And I begin with the first newspaper. The major story here says, Tinubu Shetima governors, other elected politicians get 114% salary increase. Tinubu Shetima governors, other elected politicians get 114% salary increase. Lawmakers, judicial and public officers to benefit. You find all the details of that story on the front page of the first newspaper. We move now to the Guardian newspaper. Proposed 114% pay rise for public officers complicates minimum wage negotiation. Proposed 114% pay rise for public officers complicates minimum wage negotiation. Details on the front page of the Guardian newspaper. And to the front page of the Blueprint now, cost of governance, Tinubu's 20 special advisors to earn 1.126 billion naira in 4 years. An investigation is saying this. Cost of governance, Tinubu's 20 special advisors to earn 1.126 billion naira in 4 years. An investigation is giving us these details. You can find further details if you go through the front page of the Blueprint newspaper. Now to the front page of the Daily Sun. Appointment seekers intensify lobby, follow Tinubu abroad, seek place in cabinet parastatal board. You find details of this story on the front page of the Daily Sun. Mike.
All right. I have the Punch newspaper now, and it's talking about board's dissolution. And that's a focus here. And it says 2,000 vacancies open for APC faithful, Tinubu's allies. Okay, 2,000 vacancies open for APC faithful, Tinubu's allies. That's what the Punch newspaper has in here. 153 agencies, parastatals, others await board members' appointments. Right, and don't sacrifice competence for political patronage. All right, OBS tells the president. Okay, that's a Punch. The Nation newspaper, it's talking about student loan, and he said student loan plan sparks controversy in universities. Student loan plan sparks controversy in universities. All right, Asu Konua. All right, we talked about this earlier, and they are still in a debate over the student loan issue. Student loan plan sparks controversy in universities. All right, and let's move to Nigeria News Direct. Nigeria News Direct says Tinubu's subsidy removal, exchange rate reforms, pathway for foreign investments. The UK government is saying this, and we saw that report from the, talking to the British High Commissioner to Nigeria. Tinubu's subsidy removal, exchange rate reforms, pathway for foreign investments. That's the UK government saying that. From there, let's go to Leadership newspaper. Leadership says investors upbeat as British government backs Tinubu's reforms. Investors upbeat as British government backs Tinubu's reforms. That's what the leadership says. And UK sees Nigeria as a big opportunity for investment. Shetima British envoy discuss palliatives over subsidy removal. Okay, that's the Leadership newspaper. Business Day is the next destination now. Business Day says politicians' habits unchanged as Nigerians bear reform pain. Politicians' habits unchanged as Nigerians bear reform pain. That's what Business Day has. Vanguard says steer clear of more borrowing. DMO cautions the federal government. Steer clear of more borrowings. DMO cautions the federal government. Okay, that's a debt management office. Daily Trust is next, and it says 201 killed in Plateau in 5 months. 201 killed in Plateau in 5 months. It's really a sad one. 20 vigilantes, villagers killed in fresh attacks, and external forces behind killings. It's the governor saying this. NGO blames herders, farmers rivalry. That's what Daily Trust has this morning. Really a sad development from a Plateau State. This Nigeria is the last one we're looking at now. This Nigeria is focusing on healthcare, and it says Nigeria spends only $10 on each citizen annually. And this is coming from Bill Gates. Nigeria spends only $10 on each citizen annually. Bill Gates is revealing in his tasks federal government to invest more on health sector. Tinubu pledges to reverse the ugly trend. Okay, all this you see on the front page of this Nigeria. Veronica?
Mike, let's talk about some developing story. Recall that some days ago, before the president embarked on his trip to Paris, he dissolved some boards, parastatals, and all of it. And reports are saying that right now there is intensity in lobbying with regards to occupying some of these positions, not just the boards, but talking about also ministerial positions. Some former governors are intensifying their lobbying. In fact, some are said to have followed him, for this trip to travel, just to make themselves visible and say, we are here, we are here.
We just came to say hello.
We support. We are just trying to show support.
Say hello.
Yeah, just nothing much.
Yeah, congratulations again for winning the election.
We know how it is.
Oh, no, of course. Yeah.
And then those who know the president, those who know the president
exactly.
are also lobbying the way, just pushing the cards here and there. But it's interesting to see all of this move because according to the Constitution, the president is to submit names of persons who will occupy these positions or take up these portfolios in the coming days.
The point there is, this is the time. It's like saying this is the season where appointments and upon appointments are going to come on board. And you recall that before now we had talked about the issue of there are different ways. Everybody mustn't be the Senate president or mustn't be the SGF.
Right.
There are different ways of compensating people who have contributed to the party winning the election. Now, opportunity has come. 2,000. So, of course, the president knows a lot of people from his years of engagement in politics, but obviously he cannot know everybody from every part of the country. For instance, he has done his campaigning. He's been governor in Lagos State. He's been a senator in the Federal Republic. He's been working with other politicians across, but he can't know everybody. Even in Lagos, he can't know everybody. He can't know everybody in Akwa Ibom State. He can't know everybody in Kogi State, as the case may be.
Right.
So there are going to be recommendations here and there. Now, keep the board members aside. There is even the issue of ministers. The special advisors are still there. Now, we don't know how many these are going to be. Some people feel that the president is going to streamline the 40-something minister and minister of state that used to be. We don't know how that's going to be. It's the president's prerogative. Yeah. Now, if you keep that aside, there is the ambassadorial lists also. Because at this point, with the new government, of course, they'll begin to recall some ambassadors from different countries. And you have almost 200 of the countries. Of course, we don't have mission in all the countries around the world. Sometimes there is a combined, one diplomat for 2-3 countries, depending on the various peculiarities, as the case may be. So you have all of those. So people are going to lobby. You are going to see a lot of lobbying going on. There are some who are going to even lobby through the First Lady. There are some who are going to lobby through the as
long as you have an association with the president.
The point there is, people are going to lobby even through the president's son or his family or daughter, as the case may be. Those who are going to lobby through his uncle or through his... It's normal. It's going to happen. So long as they get the president's attention, they're going to do everything. And it's a time, so it's expected.
But you use the word that is of concern to some Nigerians, compensation.
Yes.
Right. That word, why are we giving positions as a form of compensation?
No,
yes, you contributed to he emerging as president, but do you have to be compensated? Shouldn't we be looking at capacity now?
No, of course. In this instance, the boards, for instance, the boards of parastatals are kind of advisory. So they are not the strategic engine room of running the parastatal or the agency of government. So it is still a way, because if you're a member of the board, you have access to giving advice to either the National Assembly or to the judiciary or to the federal government, depending on what the issue is on ground is. You have access to influencing the outcome of a policy. So the point there is that this, when you talk about compensation, this is actually the way you can compensate. That is why they are not the ones who are involved in the day-to-day running of any of the agencies. So anybody who feels that, well, I have contributed to the party winning this election, and I need to be compensated. These are different ways of compensation. There's nothing wrong in a situation like this, because these people who are going to be members of the board, they are not the ones who are going to do the signing of contracts. They are not the ones.
But they will influence it.
No, of course.
Which, at the end of the day,
no, but
still comes to the matter of competence and how it affects Nigerians.
It cascades down. The point there is, when it comes to this issue of competence, there is no way you are going. There's no benchmark. There's no benchmarking what competence is on the face of anybody. The issue there is that everybody has the capacity to be competent, but the area of skill can be different.
Right.
How much you know about a thing to help it. For instance, the president understands the way of money, understands the way of economy, understands the way of policy by experience, by training, by all of that. So you can see the way he has deployed his knowledge into it. Now, any other president who may not have his way of money also has the capacity to make a change if you want to make the change, because even if you don't know it, you have the ability, you have the capacity, you have the authority, you have the power to collate people who know, so that you can use them to achieve whatever you want to achieve. Right. The most important thing is having the vision. So if you see it based on that, the issue of competence, you can derive competence by any means, so long as you're working, there's a vision ahead there, and the president has given the vision based on his renewed hope agenda. It is there. So if you're a member of the board, whether you have gone to school or you haven't gone to school, but by the way of your contribution to the political party in your locality where you are, and you are made a member of the board, so long as you know what the agenda of the president is, you can contribute towards ensuring that you achieve the vision, the overall vision of the agenda. Absolutely. So that's what we're saying. Putting that kind of a person in the saddle of being the one to do the day-to-day running is where the challenge will be, right?
Yes.
Good, because you could be a square peg, I could be a round peg, right? So the issue there is that finding the square hole where a square peg should enter, or finding a round hole where a round peg should enter, is what the issue is. So we can be different. You can be a triangular or even a prism. We can whatever. We can be all of those kind of pegs. But there are different places that you can enter fit in and function. So this is time to compensate. The board members, you can do it. Let it go around. Everybody be happy. But when it comes to ensuring that the vision, the overall vision of the government or the president is achieved, you have to ensure that you work in sync so that you are not putting spanner in the wheels. So that's what the thing is.
But with, it seems Nigerians have a sense of direction where the president will go, or how he would go with regards to his appointments, talking about the ministers and co, seeing the kinds of persons he put in with regards to security chiefs, who he brought on board. And there are those who have said that it is obvious that these are people he has known and he trusts, so that he believes he can work with. So Nigerians are having a sense of direction with regards to, okay, yes, there will be those who are lobbying, but then he has to trust you to know that you can deliver on his vision, for him to give you a portfolio, as it is, stemming from what we have seen with regards to the appointments he made with regards to the security.
Yes, yeah, it is true. But the point, the reality is the president cannot know everybody.
Absolutely.
And he is going to rely on some
whoever
persons.
it is must have a track record.
No, of course, why not? You must have a track record. You must have competence. You must have the skill. You must have
shown that you are able to deliver.
You must have the wherewithal to deliver. You know, and even if recommendations are made to the president to say, okay,
these three names, you can choose one from these three persons who have been this, who have been that. You submit your CV. Your track record will be made known to the president, and he will have the prerogative to choose from whoever. Anybody he chooses from these three lists, I'm just using it as an instance, from the 3 or 5 lists, is competent enough. So in a situation like that, of course, the president in his own stead is going to make findings. He's going to ask questions, do background check on, okay, in my mind I have, from this list they gave me, I like 2 persons from there. Can you do me a background check? There's another thing in the head of the president as to, okay, if these 2 persons, for instance, are even from the same region, and he wants to try to...
This regional matter.
No. But if you see his appointment, you see how he balanced the entire country. The only region, again, who didn't have anything is the North Central, right?
What did we do?
No, but it's fine. It's fine. The issue there is that the way he did the last one, there's still confidence that he has a grand agenda.
Yeah.
And where he's going, this thing is going to go round. It's not in the last dispensation where it seemed almost all the sensitive positions came from a certain part of the country. Yes. Of course, Nigerians are even, it's not even, we're looking at it from, it mustn't even be that everything must be spread, right? What Nigerians want is delivery. But because of the sensitivity of who we are and the experiences that we have,
over the years,
spread this thing so that it goes around. Because if you're looking for a competent chief of army staff, you can find all of them in one state.
In any part of the country.
If you are looking for a chief of naval staff, you can find all of them in one state if you want to.
Of
but
course.
Spread it so that there's some level of sense of belonging in the minds of, because perception is key.
Important.
Perception, that
Very
perception
important.
is key. You could have the best of agenda, you could have the best of ideas, but if we perceive that your agenda is not to our benefit, everything you're doing is wrong as far as people are concerned. So the point there is, it's a great, going forward, we're going to see a lot of interesting things.
Of course. In the coming days, it's going to be an interesting one. And Nigerians believe that competent hands will come on board to deliver on the president's agenda as Nigerians have been waiting.